Going on, boys and girls? It's your boy Chip, back at you from RVA Vapes, and today we're talking about the NADA, not another dripping atomizer. Bam! My good friends at Tigertek with the help of Vapin Fagan. Shout out to you, homeboy. This thing is bonkers. So today, guys, we're talking about the NADA RDA, which is not another dripping atomizer, and this one is from a newer company called Tigertek, designed by our boy Vapin Fagan. What's up, Fagan? So, nice little slide box packaging there. You can see you've got, this one is the all black version, and it comes with this kind of coated or striated drip tip, but you also get this cool clear drip tip, which I personally like. And then in the box you get all your goodies. You got your T-tool, your spare O-rings, 510 drip tip. Now there is a regular pin in here. It does come squonkable. But the other thing you want to notice is these little grub screws in here. And you see that? That's something that we're going to talk about a little bit more in a second. But you've got extra screws for the posts as well as those airflow control screws is what we're going to call them. But we'll get to that in just a second. So your NADA is a very cool design because you've got dual airflow on this guy. You've got your typical side airflow there, but you've also got this cool bottom airflow and nice wide 810 drip tip. When we take the deck apart, you can see the top or the side airflow, depending on how you want to look at it, has two different levels. So you can have the full wide open, or you can have just two of those holes. Then when we pop this collar off, you can see the deck. Now the deck may look somewhat familiar to some of you guys. It's basically like a reversed drop deck where you've got the posts with the angle cut on them, just like that right there, but they're facing outward instead of inward, which I think is a smart move because it allows you to get in there and cut your leads a lot easier. And it's centered so that they want you to build this up. That's why it's got the top airflow so high up on the deck. You can see if you build it up, that airflow is going to line up perfectly. If you build it right on top of those coils or try to build it out, it's going to miss it completely. Now, I'm sure some of you are wondering, what are those giant holes down the side there? Is that where you fill it up at? Is that where the skunk pin comes? Those are your bottom airflow channels. So if you look on the side, you can see right there, that lines up perfectly with that little tube. So another reason why they want you to build it straight up, because if you build it up this way, I think is the orientation. So you put one coil across here, one coil across here. That way you've got your side or top airflow lined up perfectly, but then you've got your bottom airflow lined up because you can see it kind of comes in at an angle like this. So building it straight on top of there is really ideal. Now those extra screws that I was showing you that we call the airflow control screws, those can actually thread down in these tubes to restrict the airflow. So the way it sits right now, it's about 2.5 to 3 millimeters. The options they give you for the airflow control screws are really cool because they are different millimeters. So you've got 1.5 or 2.5. I don't have my caliper with me, but you drop those right down in there and thread them down in there, and that will either constrict or open. That will constrict the airflow to whatever type of airflow you're looking for. So that way you build it right across the top of those and you get this nice bottom airflow that's controlled so you can still squonk it without having to worry about leakage, and you get the side airflow from their drop style cap, which you see here. Bam. So you want to build that right up on top of those posts, and then you get the benefit of the bottom and the top. And you can see all the different airflow orientations that you get there. Bam. Just like that. So I'm going to go ahead and throw a build on this bad boy, and we're gonna vape on it and talk about it. So now that you've got an up close look at the deck and see how it really works, we threw a build on this bad boy and we're going to check out and see how it works. So as you can see here, I put a dual nichrome build on it, and these are actually the wonderful alpha braid coils from Geek Vape. We have those here. I love these for flavor. They're tremendous. They do some of the best flavor that I've ever had. The resistance is a little bit low, but flavor wise, I don't think you can beat them. So let's check out the parameters on this bad boy. First and foremost, you can see I've got the full black version. There are 5 different color choices altogether. I'm going to throw those up right here. And let's talk about the size on this thing. So it is 25 millimeters, so you see it sits on this lexicon almost perfectly. It is 35 millimeters top to bottom. You got 18 millimeter wide drip tip, and then the barrel itself is 27.2 millimeters. The juice well on this thing is 10 millimeters deep. Now, they don't really say exactly how much juice that can hold, but I've got this thing filled up pretty good, and it is squonkable. So anybody that's looking for a new squonk RDA, doesn't have leaking issues or anything like that, I would definitely check this guy out. So the deck you saw in the up close portion, we threw a build on here. The 3 different screw posts that close up or reduce that airflow channel is a 1.5, a 2.5, and a solid. So the 1.5 millimeter, 2.5 millimeter, and the solid, which completely closes that off. Now I left those out completely because I want to see with as much airflow as possible how much flavor this thing has, and it is no slouch. It does come with an 810 drip tip, and you get 2 of them. You get this cool gnarled effect one that you've got right here, which I really like, and this one's Delrin, so you don't have to worry about the heat transfer. And then you get a cool clear one with it as well, which very sleek looking, cool, kind of a clear Ultim look. And best news of all is that with those airflow chambers coming up above the deck, this thing doesn't leak. I've held it sideways, filled it up as much as I could, and kind of wobbled it around, put it in my pocket, walked around for like 5 or 10 minutes, and as you can see, there's not a drop of e-liquid around the edge of that. So that's super cool. Being that this is a nichrome build, I've got it at 3.29 volts. It's reading at a 0.09, which is definitely lower than I was expecting it to be. But I think that has something to do with the leg length, because I made the leg super short because I didn't want it to kind of arc out on the top cap, if you will. You can see the legs are not that far off where the top cap wants to be at. So if you put it on with the O-rings, you can see right there it's not very far off. And obviously with the concaved or curved top to it, I wanted to make sure I got those coils in there directly over top of those airflow channels, like you can see there. See that airflow channel with the coil sitting on top of it. And then you do have the side airflow. I lined those up perfectly with the coil, and the bottom airflow is built into the deck, so unless you're going to put those plugs in there, that just does what it does. Wattage that this thing's running at currently is 120 watts, which is definitely higher than I normally vape at, but because I use these 2 alpha braids, they're really low in resistance. They come out to like 0.25 each, so I was shooting for around a 0.12, 0.13, but it didn't work out that way. It ended up being, a couple of hundredths lower, not a huge difference, but it does cause me to have to run it pretty high. And we knew that 120 watts with a 0.09 build is going to do that. The question is, how's the flavor? Being that I'm running it with such a low build on it and such high wattage, I am having to re-drip this thing a little more than I was expecting to. So I dripped some of this delicious Guardian Vapor Shorty that you can get here at RVA Vapes. It's a strawberries and cream biscuit. It's got a very kind of jelly-esque strawberry, but it's like a sweet jelly, not a tart jelly. But the biscuit finish on the back end really evens it out nicely. Let's have a vape on it. really enjoy this flavor, but out of this thing, it is phenomenal. You know, we've been focusing a lot on flavor lately because there's a ton of devices and stuff and tanks out there that you can get great vapor out of, but you're not necessarily going to taste it. You know, like the Prince or the Baby Beast, you know, iJoy tanks, they produce really good vapor. But I've found some of them have a tendency to be lacking in flavor. And flavor is what I'm most concerned with. Anybody that spends enough time building coils and doing stuff and has vaped for more than 6 to 9 months can get good vapor production out of anything if you have the right coil combination, the right power settings. But to get really good vapor production and extremely good flavor is kind of like we'll call it the holy grail for me personally. So that's why I wanted to spend a lot of time focusing on the flavor of things, because it seems to be a little more elusive and a little more hard to come by. Getting both in the same package like we saw with the Freemax Mesh Pro is the ultimate goal in my opinion. And that's why we picked the NADA from a fairly new company, Tigertek, to do a review on, because based on what I saw and the quick sample testing that I did, this thing was phenomenal. Let's get down to the nitty gritty, folks. First and foremost, the design of it, with the deck the way it's built, with that kind of reversed drop type of deck, being able to cut the legs off real easily, having the airflow channels up through it like the old school Kennedys did, with the little poles in the middle that were hollowed out so that you can fill that juice well up. Excellent choice. Having the side airflow, a lot like the drop does, is also another excellent choice, and you can adjust that as well. You can see it's 2 slits right there, and when we adjust it, when you spin it, you can close off just the top 2 or all 4 coming back like so. I've found with this particular build and this particular flavor, actually closing off just the top 2 and leaving the bottom airflow wide open and having the 2 on each side gives it just enough so it's warm but it's not hot. But just that slight difference really sets off the flavor nicely. All in all, from a company that I don't know too much about with Tigertek, I have to give this one 3 very enthusiastic thumbs up. It's got a good look to it. It seems to have really good build quality. The matte black finish hasn't gotten any scratches or chips on it, so that's a huge plus. We know that there's been some painting and finishing issues with devices in the past year or two. The deck, super easy to build on. It's fairly forgiving with over dripping because of the way the airflow is designed, and it's got those tubes in there. The size of it is great. You know, this thing is really checking all the boxes for me. And we haven't messed with rebuildable drippers too much on here just because it's not something that is as popular here at RVA Vapes as it used to be, but this NADA RDA might be changing that, because this thing is phenomenal. It gives me everything I'm looking for, and even has a kind of a leaning edge towards a squonk style RDA with the way that the airflow is designed, but it works without squonking very nicely. If you want to squonk it, I would definitely say check this guy out. If you're looking for a really good flavor and performance squonkable RDA, this one is at the tip top of my list, boys and girls. Also, we want to give everybody that wants the opportunity to buy one the chance with our coupon code, which I'm going to put up right here. And with that coupon code, you can log on to shop.rvavapes.com and get 10% off your purchase. Now, I just want to mention one quick thing. Here in the store, we want to invite everybody from National Vapor Expo coming up this next weekend, the 24th, or the 25th and the 26th. And we want to invite all of you guys to come out to RVA Vapes the night before on the 24th. We're doing a big party where we're going to have our friends from Giant Vapes. We're going to have goodies from Pachamama, from Air Factory, some stuff from Ruthless that they sent us. And we're also going to have the folks from Meepod in the house, as well as many more. But we're also, courtesy of Giant Vapes, getting Carytown burgers and fries out here. So you come out here, check out the new flavors that we're launching, get you a ticket, go get you a free burger and fries on them. It's going to be real fun, and it's going to be real crowded. So make sure you get here early. It starts at 5 p.m. We're starting the raffles right at 5, so don't miss out on that. We got a ton of stuff to give away. We did miss the Ask a Vapor this past Tuesday, but I had some family stuff come up, so we're rescheduling that for next week. So Ask a Vapor is going to be August 21st instead of 14th at 7:30 p.m. East Coast time. So make sure you tune into that for your live Q&A with me, and we'll answer all your vape related questions, as well as give you updates on new products and advocacy that's going on in the country. So we got to stay up on the advocacy first and foremost. Also, if you're going to MVE, make sure you stop by the VSFA, Virginia Smoke Free Association booth. They're working really hard to keep vaping alive in Virginia. So at least go by and thank them. If not, grab yourself a VSFA membership. Other than that, I don't got too much else to say. So we're going to wrap this thing up. And as always, we try to keep these videos short and sweet. So thank you for watching. Please subscribe to our channel so you can get all the latest and greatest from us. And remember, if you want to smoke, that's your business. If you don't, you know where we're at.